Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the semi-finals. We are in to game 2 now of this best of 3 between Animate Esports and Heimerdingers Colossi. I am Spuddington and I am joined by Metas.
Hey dude, how's it going? That first game was... Actually, I want to steal something that our producer said there in the break, because I think it was right on the money. He likened Heimerdingers Colossi to a bulldog, that once it bites you, it just doesn't give up. It never stops pressuring you and harassing you. I think that's pretty much dead on the mark for me. And that's pretty much the way the last game went. They took an advantage, they took it home. We're having pretty much identical bans coming out here, Spud, Zac, Zed, Twisted Fate, Elise, and Rengar. I can't remember what the 6th ban was now. No, I can't remember. My goldfish memories let me down. But it is going to be Shen. It's not allowing Shen to get through again. And this time around, it's going to be Animate picking first. Do you think they're going to try something to counteract the lane switch up? Because for me, that's basically what got the ball rolling for Heimerdingers Colossi last time around.
Well, the ultimate counter is just to straight up pick Caitlyn away, because she is obviously the king of controlling which lanes do well in the lane swap situation. It does appear that, I think this pick is going to be Thresh, this placeholder pick here, so nothing too interesting about the Poppy. Sadly, we are running on the placeholder system. We will not be seeing a Poppy first pick, which would, to be honest, be the most suicidal pick you could ever make in competitive play. But yeah, obviously we are getting some little bit of trolling in return from the Thresh kind of waving in our face from the opposition. Heimerdingers Colossi there, but yeah, what are the picks gonna be?
Well, as you said, Arcalord very kindly just messaged and said it would be Thresh. That is Poppy, the placeholder pick. The reason for that, if you're wondering why LCS never does this, is because they're on the tournament client. We are on the live client, so unfortunately these players do not have all the characters unlocked to them already. If they're on a Smurf or something like that, it will be reflected. So that's the reason you're having Poppy for Thresh. We have 2 hovered over choices. They are going for the Thresh and also the Jarvan, which I'm assuming is going to be switched over. There you go. Freeze does pick up the Caitlyn again, and we are going to have Yamato Cannon on Jarvan again. So they're thinking if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Maybe going to run the exact same comp in the exact same way. And as you said, it's a good way of counteracting the previous success is to just pick out champions, but they've not gone for that. They've pretty much gone for what they did as well with the Thresh. This time around, Samwise may be picking up the Ezreal, hovering over it, but haven't locked anything just yet in Spud.
Well, obviously Ezreal is a solid pick as well, but it does seem like it would still be open to having that lane swap happen. Well, then again, this time they are obviously going to be on the other side, so if you give that Ezreal the golem advantage at the start, this might also be another placeholder pick if they pick Annie. Or it could be an Annie pick, you never know. Prolly, I love you. But we could, yeah, as I say, could be an Ezreal pickup. If it were an Ezreal pickup, I'm not 100% certain I'd like that, because you just wouldn't be able to straight up match up against Caitlyn. I feel like Caitlyn would have the early game advantage, would get the pushing advantage, though he would have the golem advantage, so might work out. We will be seeing though, they have locked that in, I think.
Yeah, I think maybe one of the reasons why Samwise has gone for the Ezreal this time around is because he doesn't want to have to worry about the Cataclysm and the following CC and damage on top of that from, obviously, Jarvan. Arcane Shift can just get him straight out of the problems instantly, and if he's going to go for the blue build as you'd expect, and most of the top tier players do right now on Ezreal, then it's going to be a lot of slows, constant slows from the gauntlets that's going to be firing out. Interestingly enough, we see Maluno taking Nunu. Now, Nunu is a viable pick. I am curious to see if it is a placeholder, however, although I feel it may actually be the real pick. And also you're going to have Mithy on Lulu, so they are running the same duo lane again, and I feel they're more than likely going to switch it up again here, Spud. I don't see a reason they wouldn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about it in terms of having Nunu as your jungler and then having him support your AD carry, he is crazily good at helping your AD carry to push, because he has that blood boil. Both of you get the movement speed. He actually has the consume, so he can sustain a little bit better if they go for that 3-man push on a lane against a 1-man holding. And then you have Caitlyn for the poke, and then you have Lulu for the poke, and then you have a really, really solid all-around setup. But yeah, it is looking at the moment to be pretty much the same as last game. Obviously, Zac was banned out this time around, so maybe Nunu is going to be the replacement for that. But we will be seeing in just a second, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because if you go back to Season 2, Nunu Caitlyn was a legit bot lane. Because of the Blood Boil, as you said, you also had Nunu with characters like Misfortune and Cogmore and Vayne. It's that Blood Boil is just so strong on AD carry. So this is going to magnify and just make that poke and make the constant damage coming out of freeze that much more dangerous and deadly. And they've also, of course, on top of that, got the absolute zero and the constant harassments from the ice blast that Nunu is going to be throwing out onto characters like Ezreal. So you can say, yeah, Ezreal's a great maneuverability for a champion, but if you have a constant barrage of ice balls flying at your face, you're not going to be able to move too much. Either way, looks like we're going to have Jace this time around being opted for from Animate alongside the Malphite. So they have a heavy engaged team. It's somewhat of a split comp, though, I have to feel here, Spud, because they've got heavy engage with the Malphite and Nautilus, and then they've got quite a bit of poke coming in from Ezreal and Jace, and on top of that, the Thresh with the box, so they've got a bit of everything here.
I feel like at the moment they're dependent upon getting that poke down. If they don't poke the enemy down before engaging, they're going to lose in a direct 5-on-5. So Malphite and Nautilus are actually just going to have nothing to do but twiddle their thumbs for quite a significant amount of time. And actually, a Kha'Zix pickup would be a very, very solid one, but actually not going to be happening. So we have got that Orianna lock-in. Yeah, like I say, hard engage available. They have a lot of CC. They have a lot of difficult to stop engages. But I feel like that's going to be difficult for them to poke the enemy down if they get ahead. And it's going to be difficult for them to poke them down late game. So there are quite a lot of ways that Heimerdingers Colossi can come out ahead in this game. But at the same time, their kind of all-out aggression style might not work too well against that poke. They will just get kited backwards. They will just get poked down. So we will see how this works out. But I'm going to be interested to see who's going in actually what lane.
Yeah, that's a fair shout. I'm also interested in that as well because we have a few characters that could be either or. And I do like the Orianna pickup here from Extinct, if that's what he's going to be going for this time around as well. Because you have the Jarvan and the Orianna on top of each other. It's so much engage, it's so much CC and damage again. And it really does liken back to their last engagement with when you had Zac and Jarvan together. When they'd just be jumping in together, bouncing around, doing all kinds of damage. You put the Orianna on top of that instead of the Zac. Pretty much the same idea. They're going to be hard engaging, they're going to try and mop up afterwards. And also, Orianna is very good at clearing waves and stalling the game. So even if Heimerdingers Colossi do go behind, the dissonance and the raw damage that Extinct puts out will keep them in contention for longer. So I really like the pickup here, especially alongside the Lulu as well. They have so much disruption and interrupts for the team of Animate, who are by and large going to try their best to make something happen here with the Malphite. Malphite's going to try and teleport in. He has picked up the teleport here from top lane, and he's going to try and unstoppable force his way into the faces of Heimerdingers Colossi. Again, though, if that isn't successful, if it doesn't pop down a couple of those players quickly, they have a lot to retort with. The Orianna is going to melt faces. Malphite puts himself in precarious positions. That's why he's going to build tanky. So if he doesn't blow up someone instantly, Orianna is going to look to answer that call.
Yeah, now I think we are going to be moving into a quick commercial break while we wait for the delay timer to tick down now. So we'll see you in just a couple of minutes when this game gets underway. See you then.
Enjoy the silence in the rain. When all my troubles wash away and bring me peace and still my pain, and have me live to another day. Enjoy the silence in the rain. Enjoy the silence in the rain. When all my troubles wash away and bring me peace and still my pain, and have me live to another day.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the semi-finals between Animate and Heimerdingers Colossi. Nearly forgot their name there, but we are going to be going into this second game now. It's 1-0 to Heimerdingers Colossi, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some kind of level 1 action here. We are looking to see the stack up here, but anyway, I am Spuddington, and I am joined by Metas.
Hey Spud, hey viewers. Oh, I thought Extinct was going to go in there, but he's actually just popping the ball in the wall. So you can see Alkalord. Alkalord is going to be playing in the mid this time with Jay, so trying to take a leaf out of Extinct's book this time around. And like you were saying, you were talking in the break there about the composition from Animate. Do you want to just elaborate that on the viewers? You had a few doubts in the back of your mind.
Well, my current perspective on the Animate composition is they have definitely got some good poke, and they have definitely got some good all-in against foes that have already been poked down. If, however, you get a situation where either they've been poked down themselves or where they get engaged upon themselves, I don't feel they're going to have the all-in damage. I don't feel they're actually going to be able to burst down anyone from full. I mean, even Freeze, who will be just too far back to comfortably reach. Obviously, Nunu's going to be tanky, Yamato Cannon's going to be tanky, Extinct will put that shield down, you'll have Mithy with the shield and with the Wild Growth. It's just going to be hard to focus anyone out there. So, we may see something different, I don't know, but Marunu is actually now going into this top, going to be picking up the golems. And I'm actually curious because I feel like Nunu might actually be a sustained enough jungler not to need help on that red buff, but he's gonna get help anyway. Obviously, Yamato Cannon gonna be a good guy. Obviously, expecting a 2v1 lane, and knows he has time to waste because he's probably going to be zoned out for the first decent while in this lane.
Yeah, and that's going to be reflected in the fact that Maluno has gone pretty deep into the utility side of the tree. So he's actually picked up a ward at level 1 for pots, and he has the Explorer's ward with the Total Biscuit of Rejuvenation as well. So he doesn't need as much armor, he doesn't need as much damage because of course his consume is just insane for picking up creeps. So he's actually going to be putting up a lot more wards, trying to help out his team with maximum coverage of the map here. We do have the lane switch-ups going down, but interestingly enough, it's actually Animate that have gone along with this one, putting Akamez and Samwise at top, facing off against Yamato Cannon. In the meantime, you're going to have Malphite facing off against Mithy and Freeze, so this is going to be difficult for him again. Malphite doesn't have a great deal of range, and he's just going to get harassed down from this poke-centric composition once again.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see if he can make anything work for him with that, but he does have the advantage that he has that regenerating shield, does have the advantage he has more AoE wave clear than he had before on that cannon, but he's going to need help. Obviously, Shaka is predicting that will be coming down there pretty shortly. Vivisachi looking to get some of these creeps here, and he's going to look to try and ward Freeze off. I think he'll be heading towards him quickly, I suspect. For that, Q, for that damage. Actually, Yamato getting a little bit aggressive at top. Goes into the flag and drag. Not going to be doing anything. Just going to be backing on out. And we are seeing Extinct on that mid lane. Actually now against a Jace. I thought he was Jace for a significant length of time there. But he's actually on that Orianna. He'll be playing a much more defensive game then. And trying to, just keep him at arm's length.
Yeah, Accord is trying to pick up the mantle. It's going to be going very aggressive on towards Extinct, who puts down the Ignite in retaliation. Ball narrowly missing that with the command attack, so not able to land. Thresh is taking a lot of damage at top lane though, as Yamato Cannon and Maluno are going to try and make something happen, flaying him back though. Can they manage to get away from this? Doesn't look likely. Will be going down for first blood. In the meantime though, you do have a teleport coming in, which was cancelled from Malphite, so wanted to try and help top lane. As soon as he realized that it was futile, he didn't want to give up this tower. Teleporting to top would have meant that bot tower would have gone down in the next couple minutes.
Yeah, that would have probably cost them a lot of map position, and I'm very surprised he actually went for it at all, because the gang was pretty much over already when he went for it, but maybe he was just like, oh wait, there's actually a fight going on, I should probably be there, and then actually was a bit late. Maybe if he teleported in earlier, he could have swung that fight around, but even then they might have sacrificed that time. We've actually got Shaka in the mid now, and he's got the anchor, but it gets dodged out by Extinct. Very nicely played to get away from that.
Yeah, nicely juked out the way. But his flash is down, so of course Shaka may try and put more pressure, apply more pressure in the mid, and there's not a great deal that Extinct can do to alleviate that apart from superior ward coverage. Surprise, surprise, Freeze and Mithy are next to the tower, beating this down. On the flip side, let's have a look at the tower at the top. It's kind of in a similar position, so it's not exactly one-sided, but with the creep wave pushing and Freeze and Mithy stood in position, this is going to go down very, very quickly right now. Malphite's trying his best to clear this creep wave, but there's just not a great deal that he can do, and the tower is already down to 400, sub 400, now 350, going ever so low. Freeze has been caught a couple times from the tower, but he's going to be just fine, and they're going to continue with this onslaught.
Yeah, there's no reason for them to stop, honestly, at this point. We actually have Maluno in this top lane. Samwise does very low mana. He does have enough for an Arcane Shift, I think. Doesn't actually use it, but that's going to save that top tower. And I've got to say, I feel like Shaka has not been doing such a good job. Maybe it's just because there isn't the same kill potential. That's the problem with picking Malphite into a 2v1. He doesn't have the potential to set up a kill until level 6 with his jungler support. And he's not going to hit level 6 before the tower goes down at this rate. The tower is going to be long gone by level 6. So, obviously, Yamato Cannon with that early damage on that Jarvan is going to have a much greater chance of setting that up. He has early damage, he has early CC. He's just generally early on much better at pretty much everything than Malphite. So, going to be difficult for him, but obviously that tower is still up for a little while, and it does actually look like they've swapped around. They are aware that they were going to lose that bot tower, so Animate have swapped their bot lane down. But there is a risk that if they get pushed back, and that could happen, it's Caitlyn Lulu, they will also lose their tower now that it's so low.
It's very interesting because remember that Animate initiated this lane switch. They're the ones that put their dual lane at the top with Malphite the bot. I am just wondering if they try to play mind games, thinking that Freeze and Mithy would also switch it up. We do have a bit of damage going down on towards Samwise, but nothing too bad. Nothing that's going to make him go back to spawn or stop him from getting any good amounts of CS. But yeah, I'm quite interested to see if they were trying to mind game out Heimerdingers Colossi so that both the duo lanes would go top lane. If that was the case, it simply hasn't worked. Again, as we said last time, Heimerdingers Colossi seem masterful when it comes to the lane switches. They're going to take down this tower, even with Samwise and Akamez there standing around. We do have an engage actually towards mid. Maluno going very low. Here's in the flash wall. Here comes this double force though. Back, they're going to try and turn this one back around on towards Extinct. Extinct is not going to be able to survive this one. Will go down from Akalord. So they pick up the kill with some pings going around towards Drake, but I don't think they're going to go with this one. Shaka is too low. Instead, they're going to try and push this mid tower down.
Yeah, and they obviously have the means to do that. Caitlyn is going back to bot, so it looks like they might well get this. Vivisachi is quite low on the mana. Shaka's doing a lot of damage to the creeps, but they will put down a lot of damage on this tower. Whether they can actually take it out completely, I don't know. Mithy has been blood boiled, so you know, getting those Lulu health picks damage procs a little bit faster, but Shaka going quite low to that harass. Now we have the damage from Akilord not being sufficient. Malunu charging the ultimate. Flay knocks him back, but Akamez going low. We've got the hook, actually. Depth charge following up. Shaka is tanking too many tower shots. Lulu gets a double kill, and that's not really the result they wanted, I feel.
That's not something you say too often, is it? Lulu with the double kill. That was sublimely played, though, from Maluno and also Mithy in mid. I do not think that Animate were expecting that kind of damage to come down. When the absolute zero was cancelled, it still picked up the creep wave, so they were tanking tower shots for 3 or 4 of them right at the death. So impressive play. This top tower has 29 health points remaining, so Yamato Cannon is going to be pushing this one very, very soon. And again, that will mean it's a 2-0 tower deficit facing Animate. If Yamato Cannon does pick this one up, he just needs one more attack, but this creep wave isn't really playing ball. In the meantime, though, Heimerdingers Colossi, surprise, surprise, noticing that Malphite's teleport is down and he has to go top to stop this tower from falling. They're going to be picking up the Drake. Should be fairly comfortable as well. Thresh throws through his lantern there, but Drake has already been slain from Maluno. So again, just optimal global control, and they also get the top tower. So just gold seeping through, hemorrhaging from Animate, about a 4k gold lead at 9 minutes 30.
That's even bigger than it was last game, and that's not a good situation. Animate are going to try and recover something here. They are going to go for this mid tower. They will probably pick it up too. We have actually got the shockwave going in. Akamez and Akilord getting a lot of damage. They can't actually put the damage. Hook goes down though. Extinct is in trouble now. We've got the wild growth saving him. Flash out from Akilord. Now they're putting down the damage. Not going to be able to get it though. He is going to be actually still alive. Malunu still alive. They're holding onto this tower in a very disadvantageous situation. Now Freeze is back in. Akilord is too low, and Akamez is going to have to back out, holding onto the tower. No tower is taken now by Animate. The ultimate from Ezreal is going to push down the mid, but now they have to worry about their mid tower when it was supposed to be their push that was going to be taking an advantage here. We have got Thresh still in here. We have got Shaka still in here on that Nautilus. They are going to be able to hold their tower, but they need to take some kind of advantage in return if they possibly can. It's not going to happen right now. They are just going to have to turtle this out for a little while. But can they even hold this mid against the push if it comes to a 5-on-5 situation matters?
I'm not entirely sure. It's going to depend on how they execute, if they can get the right ultimates in the right areas. I was just having a quick glance across to Jace's build because I was interested to see if he's going to go with the same kind of order as Extinct did. The answer is a no. Extinct did finish off his Mana Moon and also his Last Whisper fairly quickly, whereas Akalord preferring the Brutalizer first. So it's going to do quite a nice amounts of damage, but he's not going to be finishing off that Mana Moon anytime too soon. He has about 300 gold in his back pockets. That's not going to be anywhere near enough. He's going to have to farm it for a while. Joven has engaged on towards Malphite at the top. There is no tower to go back to. Cataclysm has been used and the Ignite as well, forcing the Unstoppable Force and the Flash as well. So that's a massive amount of Initiate taken out of the equation from Animate. Some damage going down towards Freeze, but with the Orianna shield, not going to be a problem at all. But that's pretty big news. Even though Malphite didn't die, his 2 big initiation tools have been taken out regardless.
Yeah, that's going to cost him hugely. It's going to mean that obviously he can't roam as well, he can't gank as well, he can't do anything. In fact, he can't even fight Jarvan as well because he doesn't have that ultimate threat. And I feel actually he went for a slightly short ultimate to get out of Cataclysm. He could have gone for a much longer distance, and it wasn't like he wanted to turn it round on Yamato Cannon. So a little bit foolish there maybe. Could have obviously saved that flash had he gone for a longer distance, put himself out of range of Yamato Cannon. But obviously nicely played by Yamato Cannon, judging the damage he had, and he is really putting out a lot of damage at the moment. Very, very scary to see that armor stacking Malphite getting crushed down, partly due to the Elder Lizard with the armor penetration, and also partly due to the Elder Lizard with the true damage proc. So it's not a good situation for Vivisachi right now. He does have his ultimate up fairly shortly, in about a minute. It won't be too long, and also he has his teleport now, so he can go back to just pushing this top lane. But we've just demonstrated he can't duel Jarvan.
Yeah, Jarvan will really, really badly beat him down, if not kill him. He only got away by the skin of his teeth last time around, doesn't have his flash, so even though the Unstoppable Force will be up in about 15 to 20 seconds or thereabouts, his flash is not even halfway through its cooldown. So fairly dangerous times for Malphite. He is going to be recalling, currently level 8 to Yamato Cannon's level 10, so he's even behind on levels. Not looking too good for him at this point in time. We do have a bit of, I don't want to say harassment or engaged, but just both teams like beating their chests in the mid, trying to show each other who's boss, with Akalord firing across a couple of shock blasts, missing Lulu narrowly there on Mithy. But I feel that when Drake comes back up again, we are going to have another team fight kicking off. But until that point though, Yamato Cannon is going to be more than happy to harass the Malphite away and to pick up as much CS as possible, maybe even push down towards this second tower.
Yeah, sorry, just getting distracted a little bit by problems. As you say, Jarvan right now is proving to be actually a pretty brutal split pusher at the moment. I mean, he's just shoving this out. They have a lot of ward coverage in that upper jungle, so they can just keep track of where anyone is if they're going to try and stop Yamato Cannon. The only danger from that perspective is that obviously it will farm Yamato Cannon into a beast, and will obviously farm him into a lot of items. But Jarvan kind of doesn't really scale that well in terms of damage. He obviously likes to get tanky, but it won't be him building himself into a monster. It won't be like getting a Kha'Zix with 200 farm where he'll just clean up the whole team. Jarvan is only ever going to be able to really do a fair bit of burst damage to maybe 1 or 2 targets and then lock people down. He's mostly a CC and kind of a bit of damage on the side kind of bruiser. Obviously scary, but Malphite is going to transition probably into being a very, very scary sudden burst damage. He does obviously also, to be tanky, he's going to build that Sunfire Cape, which will let him trade a little bit better with Jarvan. But there's actually a risk now that he could get caught out. If Yamato Cannon gets on him, we've seen it before, he can stick.
Yeah, it's very true. We do have the second spirit of the Elder Lizard being picked up here from Ezreal, alongside the aforementioned one that went to Jarvan. So he's going to be doing a fair amount of damage. Just the pickaxe and Vampiric Scepter for freeze. Does have over 1,000 gold though, and with, you can see that Heimerdingers' Colossi are coming down towards the Drake pit, so it is due up very, very shortly. There we go, has respawned. Malphite is out of position, but he does have his teleport. He is coming in here from the side, so gonna try and harass off with him, maybe try and engage, as you said previously. Akamaz is taking point alongside Shaka. Death sentence has landed on towards Luno. He's gonna hop over his absolute legend, absolute zero, I should say, absolute legend. And you're gonna have a lot of damage coming in though. The Yamato Cannon's gonna fall. That's a lot of damage taken out of the equation. Malphite's trying his best to get himself out of dodge, but he's not gonna be able to do so. But Drake is still up, so that was a 1-for-2 exchange in the favor of Heimerdingers Colossi. But I don't think they're strong enough to try the Drake right now. No, they're not. They're going to recall.
Yeah, and that's actually going to cost them their mid tower as well. So Animate doing well out of this exchange. They have just taken quite a significant advantage. They might even be able to pick up this dragon in time. Not 100% sure of that, but actually Caitlyn is going back. So odds are they're going to take that dragon as well. So that's going to put them right back into contention for gold. And they demonstrated they were actually very, very capable of winning these fights now. So was there some kind of particular aspect of the way that team fight that was fought that was really favoring Animate, do you feel, Metas?
Well, it was a strange one because they death sentenced in Maluno, which definitely wouldn't have been their first target, who popped off his absolute zero, was interrupted, but hold that thought for a second because we do actually have Heimerdingers Colossi now with the pink ward down, trying to clear these wards out. True Shot Barrage, and also the Shockwave comes in, but they've burnt a lot here as Akamez gets completely destroyed from Lulu of all characters, so she's already picked up a 3-0-2. That's very much a carry kind of scoreline. And a free Drake and a kill on top of that will do nicely for Heimerdingers Colossi. So 5.1k gold deficit coming in for Animate. They are going to look to pressure the mid tower as well. This is going to be quite scary. Nunu is at bot lane. In the meantime, they're split pushing. So Animate's head must be spinning right now. They're like, where do we go? If we go bot lane, they're going to push mid. If we stay mid, they're going to push bot lane. So it's a pretty sticky situation for Animate to be in.
Yeah, what they might do here is look for an engage while they know Nunu is bot lane. They might be able to get Thresh back in, they might be able to get Aculord on that blue buff. He has got that now, so he'll have mana. They are going to look for this engage, but Heimerdingers Colossi, no, Heimerdingers Colossi are going to back out. Nunu is not a very fast pusher though, so he's going to have to head back to join up with the rest of his team. Or just stick down there. I mean, he could clear the wave with his ultimate, for instance, although it's not available at the moment. But he is risking having his team kind of get caught in the lurch here. But I'm not sure Animate can actually afford to push this. If the Shockwave comes back up, and in fact it is up, and you get the Wild Growth, you get the Jarvan going in, there could be a backfire if these 5 guys go for this turret against 4. We have Yamato Cannon putting down some damage. The poke is going down strong here. We have got Yamato Cannon going in, the Shockwave goes in. We've got the Malphite going over the top of it, but it's not going to be enough. We have got Shaka going down very, very low. Caitlyn looking for the damage. Not going to be able to put it down, but Visachi is going to go down well. Samwise actually now flashes after Mithy. Mithy going to be running away. Actually, Hellpix keeps her alive. It freezes now, trying to keep himself alive. Yamato Cannon over the wall. Barrier popped. It is going to keep them alive for just a second, but that's not enough. That's going to be the pickup there. And like I said, backfire there. Actually, the flash from Freeze picks that up. Like I said, the backfire, and Malunu is now going to very slowly take this bottom tower.
That was, well, pardon the pun, cataclysmic. I'm not meaning to be putting puns in there, but it was really not the kind of team fight that Animate wanted, because Nunu was not a single part of that fight at all. The whole time he was just beating down the bottom tower. It was a 4 versus 5, but it was that combination that we were talking about in the champion selects, Buddington. The Shockwave and Cataclysm on top of each other. There's just nothing you can do. If you get hit by one, you get hit by both of them. And suddenly, the blink of an eye, everybody was flashing up bread from Animate. Caitlyn cleaned up really nice, has moved herself on 3-0-3, must have a lot of gold in her back pocket. Yeah, 3.2k. So when she goes back to spawn, you can guarantee yourself at least a BF sword, maybe even a Bloodthirster, building towards the Infinity Edge. Let's have a quick look. She is recalling now. What is she going to go for? Okay, Bloodthirster. And building towards the Last Whisper as well with the longsword and pickaxe combination. So that's a big power spike for Caitlyn.
Yeah, and I would like to announce that Nunu has a very silly walking animation when he has Home Guard boots and Blood Boil on. But obviously that isn't very important, but it's important to me. So he is actually going to go pick up this red buff, possibly to pick up for himself, possibly just going to get that consume proc. Obviously they have now changed it so that he gets percent damage on his auto attacks and his abilities, which is actually super nice upgrade if he eats a lizard, which basically means something to do with red buff. And that's going to make him, obviously, a much bigger threat, actually. He can stick to people and do some pretty decent sustained damage now, which isn't something you normally associate with him. He obviously has fairly low base attack speed, but he has that Blood Boil, which keeps him going pretty quick. Obviously, he will be a fairly scary Nunu to deal with. Going to be looking to support Freeze as well, though. So, obviously, he has all of the monster buffs at the moment. He has the extra health, he has the spooky mist. I love the names, actually. The spooky mystery meat, the ornery monster trails, monster tail, sorry, and rough rock candy. But we are actually now seeing an engage here. Malunu is actually going to just put down an ice ball on Shaka. The glitter lance then hits multiple people, and they all just back out.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why Caitlyn has gone for the Bloodthirster and building towards the Last Whisper, typically she wants a Zeal or a Phantom Dancer, maybe even the Shiv, but the problem is that she simply doesn't need one, because she has the Blood Boil, as we talked about before. The Blood Boil from Nunu is going to do all the attack speed buffs that she needs and requires, and it means she can build more towards just pure damage. Also, you're talking about a funny animation. He's actually chasing after Samwise right now, constantly slowing him down. Here comes the shield maybe thinking for a split second about popping the shockwave on towards Ezreal. Not going to be the case though. True Shot Barrage comes across, will clean this wave very comfortably out. Shock Blast from Akalord, more of a scouting agent than anything else. You actually have Malphite teleporting on towards mid, so they may be trying to force something. Depth Charge has gone on towards Freeze and the dredge line as well. Here comes Malphite from the backside though. Can they pick up the kill on towards Freeze? Has walked into a trap. Shaka manages to survive by the skin of his teeth with the shutdown coming into effect, but that whole time Heimerdingers Colossi were like, okay, you're going to take down one of our players, we'll just push this bot tower very aggressively. The Blood Ball used on Extinct, they are going to try and nuke this one down. Meanwhile, you do have 3, make that 4 players from Animate trying to congregate around the area and make something happen. The Unstoppable Force is still off cooldown, so they could potentially make something happen. Shock Blast misses from Akalord. He's flashing into contention, forcing the flash himself though from Extinct, and that is going to mark the end of the engage. But that was a 1 for tower exchange, and you have to say it's in favor of Heimerdingers Colossi. Again, globally, they're looking very good.
Yeah, again, Animate can only seem to find kills, find picks when it's costing them an objective. And that's just a really good setup from Heimerdingers Colossi. And there you go, blue buff on Jarvan. That's going to be nice. He's going to take that away, clean as you like, and no one can really contest that. So, he's now going to have to... Actually, if he stays here to farm, he might be risking his life a little bit. We do have the Nautilus coming in here from the side. Shaka obviously has the CC to lock him down. He obviously has Vivis actually here as well. Sunfire Cave, it actually looks like he's going to go for the old classic. Oh wow, actually the hook goes through the wall. That was confusing. But Yamato Cannon obviously going for the duel me, I am a great warrior. Actually, no way, I've changed my mind. Combo there of putting the Cataclysm down and running out. And again, it's costing Animate an objective here to get that. Dragon goes down.
It's really smart play because Yamato Cannon often, you know, at first glance, in fact, Akamez should be going down. The damage is just massive. Caitlyn with the Last Whisper will be picking that one up, moves herself to 4-1-3 on the scoreline. Is halfway through the stacks of Bloodthirster. Meanwhile, Malphite has pushed the top tower, but this is going to leave the rest of his team somewhat exposed around the middle area until he can recall, get himself back into position once again. But as I was going to say, you know, sometimes at first glance you might kind of looks like he's overextending, but then you realize it's all planned. He drew out 2 players. He drew out both the Nautilus and Malphite as well, while the rest of his team, who had a perfect timing on Drake, just went along, strolled down there, picked it up comfortably. Very, very smart play from Heimerdingers Colossi. Yamato Cannon is coming in from the backside, maybe thinking about an engage. Vivis is actually stood on top of the ward here, so they know exactly what's going down. The chunk is massive onto Samwise. Here comes the ace in the hole, blocked out from Malphite, so no problems there. But again, this poke damage and the constant pressure, that Bulldog-esque battle, is forcing them back, and they're getting more towers. And there is literally nothing that Animate can do about this. If they go full all in, I feel that they're going to lose anyway. They don't have enough damage to pick up the tanky Jarvan, pick up the tanky Maluno, and then get to the back lines of Freeze as well.
Yeah, and I feel it's largely a team comp issue. Unless they can really poke them down, then it's not going to work out for them. But there's too many shields. There's too many characters with sustain. It's just not going to work for them, that poke right now, especially because they're behind and they're having so much trouble outmaneuvering them too. They just don't have the mobility to get in the engage that they want. So, obviously, the Bulldog is holding on pretty tight at the moment. But you might see Animate start to look towards this Baron actually now. Maybe not actually. They're going to go for that engage on Freeze, but not going to be able to get it. The hook does not go down. Samwise actually does have that red buff if he could go for it, but it actually looks like I think it's Colossi are kind of in closing here. But Akalord getting hit very hard, and the flash, the Cataclysm, and the Legate approach is going to be working okay for Yamato Cannon. He might be able to get the Flag and Drag out. He's very, very tanky. He's actually going to be able to get it back into Samwise. The ace in the hole goes down. The shockwave goes down. The damage goes down. Ballsy play, but is he going to work out here? I don't know. Extinct is actually going to be okay. Vivis actually jumped onto him, but he's not going to be able to take him out. We have actually now got Malunu sticking to Akamez, not going to let go. Ice Ball keeping on, sticking Freeze comes in from the side, picks that up. Samwise now actually in a very awkward spot. Oh, the fail arcane shift. He's going to die. There we go. Double kill goes down, and we've actually now got Shaka looking for this. The ice ball will come down any second. The glitter lance hits. We've got Malunu sticking. We've got the kills there. Not the ace. Now we have Extinct actually behind enemy lines, out of mana. Mithy also in trouble. Hidden carry Mithy, not maybe going to be able to keep them alive. Extinct going to be trying to run. Freeze is very low. Barrier pop. Can Vivisachi pick this up? This is a very clean upable situation. We are going to be seeing them running though. The dissonance will probably keep them alive. That is the slow, but Akilord has constant movement speed. There is an acceleration gate could come up any second. He is going to be just running though. It does actually look like he might check this brush. Oh, Extinct.
Get sniped, son. He just completely crushes him, but that was such a smart play. He realized that the chances were that at least one of them would be in that bush. And indeed, he was entirely correct. The constant maneuverability and movement speed bonuses, though, from both Dissonance from Orion and the Blood Boil just got them out so fast. But that last team fight, I will switch over to this team fight if it does kick over, as I was seeing Yamato Cannon chasing down towards mid. But the last team fight that we saw with Yamato Cannon, it's not often that you talk about Jarvan being an assassination champion, but he basically assassinated Jace and then just ran for his life. Everybody on Animate was so hungry for that kill, they were so bloodthirsty, that they completely neglected the fact that the rest of Heimerdingers Colossi were moving into position. Yamato Cannon kited them round for a good 15 or so seconds, allowing Caitlyn to fire off an ace in the hole. If you notice, Ezreal went down to about 5% health at the end of that, was forced to pop off the barrier. The AD carry for Animate was not present in that team fight, barring the True Shot Barrage, which doesn't do a great deal of damage anyway right now. So without an AD carry or their mid carry as well in the form of Akilord, it was a very comfortable team victory for Heimerdingers Colossi, and they managed to push down another tower, and they're constantly keeping this pressure on. However, inhibs are still all up and healthy from Animate, so the game is not over just yet, but it's definitely slipping away.
Yeah. You're definitely seeing some serious pressure. Malunu actually now has Blood Boil, has the Dissonance, has the mobility boots, I think, as well. Fast Nunu there, but not able to quite catch up to Shaka, who doesn't actually have mobility boots either. He has Ninja Tabby instead, which you usually do see Mobo boots, because they tend to be very useful on these characters with hooks, because it means you can get closer in a sustained chase and just put the distance down. You can just grab someone, even if, you know, they are quite a long way away. You just have to stick to them for long enough. Now we actually have Vivisachi in this bottom lane. Does have teleport available though, so they're going to go to the Baron. We got Yamato Cannon going in. Akimez now has put down the box. They are going to be possibly in trouble here. Extinct actually going. Ow! Extinct getting knocked up. Gets Wild Growth though, so he's not going to go down immediately, and Extinct is still sticking in. The shield is going to keep him alive. Vivisachi is not going to be able to take him out in time. We actually had the Absolute Zero going down, and Akilord is very low. Akimez is ballsing in the front line, but he's not going to be able to survive for long. Samwise going down to Caitlyn, and now we have another victory for Heimerdingers Colossi. It looks like they're going to try and chase this down. Akilord isn't going to go down, but nicely played again, and it feels like Heimerdingers Colossi are going to pick up an inhib here.
Yeah, this is the drawback of the blue build Ezreal, that he doesn't do a great deal of damage once the opposition starts to build tanky. When you have a runic bulwark, you've got like a Warmog's armor as well. It starts to look pretty precarious for blue build Ezreal. When you compare that to Caitlyn's damage with the Bloodthirster and the Last Whisper, and now the Static Shiv as well, she is just simply doing a lot more single target damage. So in these team fights, when a player or two get picked off, as we've seen the last few, it just basically spells out doom for Animate. They can't pull themselves back from those situations. Nautilus popped his ultimate, only landed onto both Nunu and Oriana as well, so it wasn't disrupting Freeze, it wasn't disrupting anybody else. There you see, True Shot Barrage goes through Freeze, barely scratches him. Here comes Akilord from the side though. It's going to be sped up distance lands. Mithy is going to put himself in harm's way. Good guy Mithy, sacrificing himself for his team, and that will buy some time for Extinct and Freeze to recall. But Spud, with Mithy being down for 33 seconds, with Extinct being very low, this could be prime time for Animate to try and pick up this Baron. The one downside is Yamato Cannon is coming from the side, so we could have an epic steal kicking off here. Animate is still nuking down the Baron. We do have a bit of harassment from both Caitlyn and Yamato Cannon. Yamato Cannon is still around the side. He's going to cataclysm him in, but Nunu is actually going to take the Baron there, jumping over with the Consume. Now going to be Absolute Zeroing on towards Akilord, picking up that kill as well. This is absolutely terrifying from Animate's perspective. everything that could have gone wrong did just go wrong, and it was just one of those kind of team fights that could not have gone any worse for Animate. That's a 5-0 exchange, and they surrender off the back of it. I think that was the final nail in the coffin. They couldn't bear to play the game anymore.
No. GG, well played. 2k smite, I think someone said. Obviously, at this point, Consume was maxed on Nunu, so it's doing 1,000 true damage. Then he had Smite for 940. In terms of spikes, true damage, that you can't outsmite that. He flashed in at the right time, and therefore he could just take it. And there was nothing that could be done about it by Shaka. So, well played by Heimerdingers Colossi. You've got to say, they really controlled the entire game, both games, and that was a domination station. Well played.